First, gotta listen to this V8. Listen to that on overdrive. Hopefully that's coming through under the GoPro. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing a 2023 Chevy Camaro 2SS convertible. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Larch Miller Chevy here in Murray, Utah for giving me some time with this Camaro. This one is available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into it. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 16 around town and then 26 on the highway, with power outputs being 455 horsepower at 6,000 RPMs and then 455 pound-feet of torque at 4,400 RPMs. Now let's go to the front end of this Camaro SS. So first off, what you guys will notice is we've got this blacked out accent piece right here, which is actually venting. Pretty cool. And then coming down below, you can see here with the daytime running lights and the headlights. I know the lighting's kind of horrible for you to be able to see the lights, but trust me, pretty cool. It kind of goes up here into the grille. Speaking of grille, notice we got the Chevy bow tie all blacked out there in the center, SS logo off to the side, and then we have another daytime running light just down below. And then notice this bottom portion of the grille is also all blacked out. And there's your full side view. You guys can see the lights a little bit better there on that side, by the way. And I meant front view. I don't know why I said side view. I guess my brain's already gone. So going over the tire and wheel setup, for the front, it's 245, 40, 20. And then in the rear, it's 275, 35, 20. So we do have a slightly staggered setup front to back. And then you guys can see here with the wheels how they're all blacked out, and then we do have the red brake caliper that has the Camaro logo on it. Notice we have another Camaro logo right there. And then you can see the mirrors are body painted. Sorry about my shadow. And if we take a few steps back, here's your full side profile there. And it actually looks pretty cool because you got the blacked out wheels, and then you also have the soft top because it's convertible. It's also blacked out, so it kind of all ties in together. Here's our key fob. As you can see, we've got the Chevy logo there on the back, and then we've got the unlock, the lock function, remote start, and then this is for the top, actually, to take it off with the key fob, and then also for the trunk, just press it a couple times, and that'll unlatch. You do have to lift it up yourself, as you can see. And notice here with the storage space is actually pretty solid overall. Definitely not massive by any means, but again, that's kind of what you give by going for the convertible. And then when you're all done, just plop. Finishing things up with the rest of the rear, you can see the spoiler here on the back. I think it looks pretty cool. Got the shark fin in front of that, and then notice the blacked out Chevy bow tie. And then here's a quick look at the lights. I'm actually a pretty big fan of these new style of lights. I love the coloration on them, and the shape overall I think looks pretty good. Obviously not as boxy as the previous light design, but like I said, I still think it looks great. Another SS logo, of course, and then notice with the exhaust tips, pretty aggressive. You guys will love the sound of this exhaust, by the way. And well, let's actually pop over on this side, it's easier to see. There's the rest of the rear. Here's the front door panel. Notice here with the leather padding at the top and the stitching that goes throughout, and then down below has this cool two-tone design, obviously between the black and the white. Windows are automatic. Well, there's a better look so you guys can actually see that. And then the adjustments for the mirrors. The mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. We also have memory seats as well. And then if I just pull this latch right here, this lets me access the back seats, which look fantastic. Again, got that cool two-tone design with the white and the black. And look, there's the wireless phone charger. That being said though, headroom is cramped, but since this is a convertible, you have unlimited headroom because, well, you just take the top off and then you have the sky. Legroom also cramped. Again, that's pretty typical for muscle cars like this. And then popping the seat back, you can see again with black at the top, notice the SS logo perforated all down the center of the seat with the leather. The seats absolutely look fantastic. And there's the power adjustments. And then notice with the pedal layout down below, also it says Camaro right here, which is kind of interesting. Got some controls there for the heads-up display. Steering wheel is manually adjustable. Let's pop in. Okay. Now here's our steering wheel for this Camaro 2SS. Notice again, really nice leather trim. It is perforated here on the side. Here's a better look at that. So you can get a slightly better grip, and then you've got the contrasted stitching in the center. SS logo down below. You've got your volume controls right here, voice command phone controls. Heated steering wheel button here, cruise control, paddle shifters there on the back for that 10-speed automatic. Turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock, and there's the steering wheel. Now here's the center gauge cluster. We've got analog gauges on either side, and then you do have a screen in the center which we can use to scroll through some different menus to see different bits of info here with the Camaro itself. Pretty straightforward stuff, but the exciting part is the drive modes. So we've got a snow and ice, we have a track mode, which will actually open up the exhaust to make it a little bit louder, and then you've got a sport mode, does the same thing, and then your touring mode, which is kind of like your daily driver mode, which closes the exhaust valve, so then it's a little bit quieter. Now here's the center infotainment system. Sorry about the glare, it's just the time of day that it is, but anyways, we've got a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and well, that's all. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time's great. It does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You've got these shortcut buttons here at the bottom. And overall, again, more shortcut buttons down below as well. That's all. Now, this next area, which the camera's probably gonna have a horrible time focusing with, is the climate control area. So you got heated and cooled seats. You got all the controls for the climate system. And then this is actually how you change the temperature, is twisting the vent, which is definitely fun. Shifter for the 10-speed automatic. It does have a manual shift function. Again, you can use the shifter or the paddles. That's for your stability control, the drive mode select, and then notice for the parking brake, and then we do have a 12-volt right there. And then here's the center console. And just a couple of cup holders, and then you can see we've got stitching on the dash, and then circular vents everywhere. Here's the glove box. And then last but not least, woo, we have this whole fun setup right here for the camera mirror. And then the top button is actually, I gotta increase the luminosity there with the camera, is right here. I don't think the top button was there before. I remember it being down, so that's kind of an interesting change. Oh, so you have to hold it the whole time. Wow. That's pretty fast though with the operation once the, wow. So here's a quick look with the top down. And yeah, definitely looks cool. And like I said, you have infinite headroom once you put the top down, which is a big benefit. And also, all of the visibility complaints of the Camaro also go away because, again, top down. But this one has the camera mirror, which obviously fixes that. But yeah, I figured I'd give you guys a quick look with the top down. And then putting it back up is just as easy. All we got to do is just hold that button again. Then you guys can see it'll do its thing. Ooh. Should tell me right in the center. There you go. So here's a window sticker for this 2023 Camaro 2SS. Notice warranty information. We have our 3-year 36,000 mile bumper to bumper, and then our 5-year 60,000 mile on the powertrain. And then notice we have our performance suspension with our limited slip differential. Pretty cool that they spell all of that out. But here's the rest of the standard equipment. So notice base MSRP now for a 2SS is $50,000. And then we've got options like the 10-speed automatic transmission, and then the exhaust, right, that has the different modes. And then you guys can see with the rest of the options here. And I actually don't see an OnStar charge here on this one, which is pretty interesting because I have reviewed a few 23 GM products this week, and they all had $1,500 OnStar charges, but I'm not seeing that on this one. Anyways, you guys can see the total MSRP there, $55,620. And also, those little windows are open. Those are separate. So what I have to do is press this button, and then that'll close those windows. Let's drive this thing. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood, and you guys can now hopefully see the heads-up display. Both of the mirrors, which do have blind spot monitoring, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And again, remember, this does have the camera mirror. Gotta remember that. Let's set off. Oh, setting off in the Camaro 2SS. And I'm sure that some of you in the comment section below are gonna be like, Ben, please drive with the top down. And my response to you is it is over 100 degrees outside. Well, sorry, 93 degrees. I was being a little bit dramatic, but it's 93 degrees outside, and it's also rush hour traffic. And so yeah, I'm going to enjoy my air conditioning and my nicely insulated cabin for today's test drive. But let's actually talk about how this Camaro drives. So first off, the one thing that I really like about the Camaro is it's actually a really good daily driver. Pretty comfortable from a suspension standpoint, and the convertible is actually pretty quiet. When you have the top obviously up and all the windows up. Now if you have the top down, I do recommend, just like other convertibles, just roll the windows up and it will mitigate the wind buffeting a little bit, but you're still going to get wind buffeting. It's a convertible, right? That's what it's about, is the open top experience. Aside from that, this is actually in 4-cylinder mode right now. It's telling me right there. V4 is what it says. Wow. So it does that to save on fuel economy, cylinder deactivation. Pretty interesting. Other stuff, the steering feels tight even in this touring mode. It definitely has this like tight sports car feel to it overall. Now, a big complaint with the cabin on the Camaro, and also I forgot to mention the walk around, ambient lighting, you guys can see it in like the little door thing, is that it feels cramped. I don't really get that feeling with stuff like the camera mirror, because yeah, the windows are small, but the cabin itself, like, I'm not exactly a small person. Like, I'm slightly above average in weight and height, and I fit in here perfectly fine. Like, my head's not touching the top. I'm close, but I'm not touching the top, and I'm comfortable. And I actually don't even have the seat all the way down, by the way. I've got the seat kind of in a middle position, I guess the best way to put it. Now, other stuff, this does sound great. This exhaust, the V8, sounds fantastic. And again, I've got it just in touring mode. Let's pop it into sport mode. Opens it up a little bit. It says V8 now. You are no longer in V4 mode. The funny thing is, I don't think there's such a thing as you can't have a V shape with a 4-cylinder. You only do like inline 4 cylinders. So it's funny how they say V4. There you go, V4 again. I guess it technically is a V4 because it's cutting off half the cylinders with the V8. But technicality aside, yeah, going over the manhole covers still pretty comfortable. And I like the feeling of the steering wheel as well. I think they did a good job with the material use on it. The one thing I will say though is it'd be cool if they had like kind of like finger grips or something here on the steering wheel. A lot of sportier cars are kind of going for that, having just you know, kind of like a beefier steering wheel overall, but then also just something to kind of like dig your fingers in so that you can do thumbs up driving a little bit easier. Okay, so I've got it in the manual mode. Again, we're in sport mode. Train tracks, it's pretty comfortable. But we of course got to listen to this V8. Listen to that on overdrive. Hopefully that's coming through onto the GoPro. That never gets old. This valved exhaust, definitely worth it. Oh my goodness. Just the soundtrack that you get. I'm gonna do a couple upshifts so I can do some downshifts for you guys. Like, listen to that. That is just, you don't get that sound in a lot of modern cars anymore. And that's what you get with a big, naturally aspirated V8. Is just beautiful, beautiful sounds. So torquey. I gotta do another downshift here. Oh my gosh. This just is, it literally just like, boom, does everything. I'm actually gonna do these back windows. So I'm rolling down the side windows so you guys can hear this a little bit better. That's the benefit of the convertible, is obviously you can do the top down, which you could really hear the exhaust, but you can also do those side windows. Listen to that. Such a beautiful sound. But anyways, let's pop back into automatic mode and sum things up. So first off, exterior wise, this is just my personal opinion. My favorite version of the Camaro was the front end just before this, and so like if you still get a ZL1, you still get that version of the front end and then this back end, which I think the ZL1 is the best looking Camaro, which makes sense because it's also the most expensive Camaro. I guess I just have expensive taste, but I still think this is a good looking car. Interior is really nice. They definitely brought up the quality with the Camaro interior, and stuff like the little vents. It's a quirk, right? But it I don't know, it just makes this feel a little bit more special. And then from a driving perspective, the Camaro has a really good driving experience because it's very comfortable, especially these seats, right? These leather seats with the air conditioned seat function, the heat seat function, right? It's great for all 4 seasons. But on top of that, it has this lightweight feel. Even though this is a convertible, which is heavier, it still has this lightweight, fun, tossable feel. And so it's this car where you feel like you can just go out and just enjoy. It's an experience. It's definitely an experience. And don't get me wrong, I love the sound of Dodge's 6.4 Hemi, and I love the sound of Ford's 5.0 V8, but this 6.2 V8 with this exhaust is just amazing. Like it's such an experience every single time you get in, and this 10-speed's so quick to shift. You can get this with a manual too, which is a ton of fun as well. But overall, Chevy has just nailed it with the Camaro. And so if you want some V8 drop top fun, check this out. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this Camaro 2SS convertible. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Lurch Miller Chevy here in Murray, Utah for giving me some time with this car. Like I said, if you want to purchase this from them, link to their inventory in the description down below. I'll see you.